from a can. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown. So hey, we are. And see, this is one of those things, Ben, that anyone who listens to this, as we plan for them to, hundreds of years from now,
yeah,
aren't going to get that reference.
Well, then, though, you don't think that song's timeless?
Maybe so. This is the Rosetta Stone of it. There was a popular musical group called the Presidents of the United States of America.
Not to be confused with the unpopular job title, President of the United States of America.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into it. President. Thankless job. Hardly anyone's happy with the president in general. So, and sometimes the president is a general, but rarely.
It's been a minute.
George Washington was one of them.
I think
Ulysses S. Grant?
Eisenhower was our last general president, I believe.
Maybe it's time for a new one, Ben. Who knows?
Well, once the military dictatorship is installed, it'll happen once again.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, I feel like it's... President says they're a musical band, a musical group. They had a song called Peaches, and Ben and I were reciting lyrics from that song. So,
like slam poetry.
Here's my thought.
These are the days of our lives.
So one of the things that I hear is going to try that the new administration is going to try to do when they get put into power is a culling of the military. Military people that don't agree with them getting axed.
Yeah.
In general, the military doesn't like getting rid of people who have served in the military faithfully. Like, in general.
Unless you get somebody of, in general. But then you're going to get somebody in a position of ideological authority who doesn't care. All they're going to care about is whether or not you will, show fealty to one person or one ideology.
Right, which then, in turn, causes most people with a military mindset to become disgruntled. And you don't want a disgruntled military.
No.
Which then, what I'm saying is military dictatorship one way or the other, but it might just be a whole new kettle of fish, as it were.
And it's been a while since I've had fish in my kettle.
Hey, look at... think back. Were there more fish in your kettle 4 years ago?
I had to have them removed, honestly.
Yeah. So we are in an auspicious time period, Ben, for Ben Gonna Guess the News. There are two pieces of news that I have for you, one of which is easy, a freebie. You already know about this.
Matt Gaetz pulled his name out of being candidate for Attorney General.
That's right.
And the best response I saw to that was, never thought Matt Gaetz was the kind of person to pull out of a situation before it was mature.
Yes, that was, there's several other things like that, of course. And the thing that I heard that he read was that it was taking the focus away from Trump's presidency.
And what that means is new allegations came out that he can't defend himself against. But the actual reason I heard is that he had some meetings with some senators and realized that he did not have the votes from the Senate to be confirmed. And if you know you don't have those votes, the confirmation process is just going to be embarrassing. And so one positive note that I've heard from this whole thing is that this shows that Trump can't just force the Senate to do his bidding.
Yeah.
But there are, because they're like, I don't remember the names. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski are two of them. there are some Republican senators who will not, who will act as sort of like a check and a balance.
And that's the thing I was going to say. We do have a situation now where all three branches of the government are aligned with the same party. When that happens, we've seen this before, Ben. I think all of a sudden you start seeing striations where there weren't before, because now that everybody is kind of running off the same sheet of music, you start to see the infighting happen because they no longer have the Democrats to be their main enemy.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. So that's number one. Number two. Now you remember we talked about, I believe, a little bit the hearings with the UFO things that happened.
It was
We talked
mentioned
about
briefly last week, or the
Okay.
week before. Yeah.
So on the heels of that, there was something, and I'll even say there is someone from Arrow. I'm not going to ask you what Arrow stands for, but do you know what Arrow was? Who had his own little chance to give a briefing?
No. Is this like a military whistleblower?
He is not a military whistleblower. In fact, he is a military appointee. Arrow is, and I won't be able to tell you what it stands for. But they're basically the new Project Blue Book. They're the official sanctioned UFO investigation arm. And so they want to be the ones who vet all of the alien or UAP. I said alien. Forgive me, dear listener. I'm not saying that UAPs are aliens. But all of the footage that people have, they want them to send it to them. Now, if you don't know this, you're not going to know the answer, but I'm just going to throw this out here anyway. What mechanism have they come up with to provide your footage and your reports that some people think is behind the times?
Well, are we going so far behind the times that the mechanism is to mail them a DVD and to fax in the report?
Okay, not that far, but interestingly enough, that's what when I heard it, I said, "Wow, why don't we just have people use a fax machine?" It's what I exclaimed out loud.
And it's not the mail. It's not the U.S. mail.
It's
you
not the U.S.
put it in the mail.
This methodology, they said, was to make it easier for everyone and to make it more secure.
Is it electronic or is it analog?
It is electronic,
Okay.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Like putting the documents on a hard drive and having a courier deliver a hard drive?
No. I'll give it to you. Downloading a PDF and filling it out, and then emailing the PDF back with any attachments that you have, such as photos or videos.
So they're depending on you. So you have to download the PDF, fill it out by hand, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Or you can stick it in your typewriter if you wanted to. But then you're going to have to scan that PDF or take a photo of it.
I'm hoping that it's a little bit more high tech than that. That it's a form fillable PDF.
Right. So
it's not,
you use
oh my god,
you use
man,
Acrobat. Yeah. But if it's not, and like, not everybody knows that you can use software to fill out. Like, not everybody knows that PDFs have editable fields, right? You know,
I guess so. Yeah,
I've had that situation where I've been given a form where the expectation was I had to print the form, fill it out, and then find some way to send it back electronically.
The suggestions that they said that they had looked through were maybe, and this is why I'm thinking that it might not be form fillable, but I think it will be, that they they thought about having online forms that people could do, which
Yeah.
would have been crazy,
Yeah.
or an app, which would have been perfect. Right? That's really what you want at this point.
This is just evidence gathering, a methodology of evidence gathering.
Yeah. Mhm.
So if you are a pilot and you have footage of a UAP,
You will download the PDF and then upload
like
it with the footage.
this is my name, this was the flight I was on, this is where we were, this is what I
Yeah.
saw, and
You
then
know,
you upload like to a Dropbox or something.
I honestly maybe I'll fill one out for the thing I saw, not this eclipse, but the last eclipse. Oh, I bet you, Ben, that there's an episode that has me talking about the thing I saw at the not the last eclipse, but the one prior.
The 2017 eclipse?
Yep.
What?
Do you remember me talking about it?
I don't, but we can go back and have somebody listen to the show.
Would anyone do that though? Really? So I'll recount it again. I was at my parents' house. There wasn't a full eclipse at the time. It got close, but it wasn't exactly there. It got eerily quiet, but
Yeah.
I was sitting on their little deck there, looking up to where the sun was and all that, and I saw a thing, kind of like when you look at an airplane from the ground and it's flying pretty high up there, right?
Yeah.
Like that. But the thing about it was how it moved. It went like that. Like it was here, then it was here, then it was here, then it was here. Like dip, 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 dip. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like a stone skipping across a pond.
Okay.
Pling, 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 pling. Like that.
And
It's
you
pretty
saw this
interesting.
not in like the eclipse, the area of the eclipse, but just outside of it?
Yeah. So the eclipse, we know at that eclipse time, we never had the full corona or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was we
Never go
weren't
full
right.
corona.
We weren't at the right spot.
You were in Edwardsville. This was 2017. I remember that was
And it was actually Dorsey, Illinois, but close to Edwardsville.
Dorsey, Illinois.
2017. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was still interesting, but nowhere near as cool as the one that we saw. What was it? Was it last year?
Yes. Yeah, it was last year.
Or even this year?
I mean, by last year, I do mean this year because I'm sort of like mentally in next year already.
Yeah, we're already in 2025
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, me too.
It was this spring. It was earlier this spring.
Oh, speaking about earlier this spring, sort of. You'll see where I'm getting it. Another Ben gonna guess the news. What happened today, Ben, in Chicago?
Blizzard?
Not a blizzard, but the first snowfall of the year.
First snow, yeah. I somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook who lives in Chicago talked about seeing sideways snow. So I just assumed there were like blizzard-like conditions.
Well, there. Okay, so Chicago. I'll be the first to tell you this, maybe Ben. I don't know. You might have heard about winds, high winds, often. So seeing sideways snow.
I've never heard that about Chicago before.
Yeah. Apparently, you can win the city.
Hey.
There.
Actually, fun fact that may or may not be true. I heard a reason why Chicago is called the Windy City.
Okay.
And it is not because of the winds.
Oh, crazy!
It's actually a now I may get some of the details wrong, but the point remains. It's a dig from politicians, I think from New York, who were getting sort of upset with Chicago politicians, saying they were full of wind.
Oh, I believe that. That sounds absolutely believable.
Is that fact? Who knows? I don't even remember where I heard it, so it's an unverifiable source.
Here's the other thing. Maybe it was the Windy City because of the wind, and then a politician from New York says, "You know why they call it the Windy City? It's not because of the wind. It's all the hot
air coming out of Tammany Hall."
It seems like the circus is in town because all the clowns are in Congress. Do you remember that in MST3K?
I don't
Protein
remember that.
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, so it must be cold where you are, yet you're hanging out in a tank top. Are you cranking the heat in your new place?
I guess so. Yeah. Here's the thing. I mean, we do have heat for sure,
Well, that's
but
good.
I was outside like this too. Tank top and swim trunks.
Why?
We had a bunch of people coming to. This isn't an answer, by the way. Just more detail. We had a bunch of people come and empty out our garage, and the car is now parked in the garage.
Nice.
Exciting.
Yeah.
First time that I've had a car parked in a garage in a while.
I don't think I've ever parked a car in a garage. Even when I was a kid and we had garages, they
Do you
were
know
all
what's
just
crazy about it?
full of stuff.
When it snows, the snow doesn't get on the car at all.
That's crazy. I will say that I do park a car in a parking garage.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I've never
That's actually
parked.
That's actually better.
I've never parked a car in a home garage. I only bring that up is because we're getting into that time of year where I am always cold. And in fact, I had the heater blowing here at Annex just to warm it up a little bit. I'm wearing this nice thick flannel, and I'm still freezing.
So here's something I just realized. I'm I weigh considerably
Almost 100
more
pounds.
than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 100 pounds more. How much you weigh right now?
Last time I weighed myself a couple days ago, I was topping out at like 152.
Oh, Ben, so close. I'm actually losing a little bit of weight, and it's mostly subconscious because I want my weight to match what it says in my driver's license,
What is
which
it?
is 235. Right now I weigh 242.
I don't actually know what my driver's license weight is. I don't even know if it's on there. Do they still do that? Oh yeah, here we go. 155.
If I had been smarter, I would have put it at 250, and that way,
I'm 3 pounds under.
yeah. So, pretty good, I guess.
I was looking at their shirt
Oh,
earlier
but
today.
what I was saying is I was outside
yeah.
while they were moving stuff in just my shorts, and I had my my snow boots on. Also, I have very pitiful snow boots right now. I ordered new snow boots. I ordered a one of those bib snow pants things,
Okay.
and I ordered some gloves. I already have the parka. It's the parka that you remember, probably.
The one that you spit up,
Not that
soiled.
one. Not that one. No, that one. That one I got rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you listening to the podcast who don't know this anecdote already, let's just say whipped cream that comes in a can can spoil, and when you do that, don't spray it directly into your mouth.
But if you are going to do that, make sure somebody's rolling a camera.
But don't wear a hoodie. I mean a parka with fur around it. Also. Okay. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, I put the shirt on earlier today, and I always considered this a white shirt with black stripes, but I also thought this could be a black shirt with white stripes.
Have you ever seen Madagascar? That's a thing that
I've never seen Madagascar.
So there's a zebra, played by Chris Rock, and one of the things that they're wondering is if he's a white zebra with black stripes or a black zebra with white stripes. It's one of the things I talk about. I'll tell you this, Ben. I have always considered it a white shirt with, because you've had this for a while, haven't you?
A bit. I've had that for a while, and yeah, as I said,
Yeah,
I bought it because I wanted one that was white. You know.
I think the reason is, and I could be wrong, and of course, those of you who can't see the image because you're listening to the audio version, what I can say is that the parts of your your sweater or whatever your shirt,
it's a shirt.
Whatever you want.
It might as well be a jacket. I almost looked for pockets of it just because it's so big.
The part of your shirt that is white includes the chest and the front of the sleeves, which I think makes even
But
even if the percentage
it's pretty equal,
is
though.
less,
I mean,
right?
I'd say
Like if
annex.
well, but what I'm saying is if you're looking at the stripes, how they lay out, right? Sit up for just a second. I want to see your. Okay, well, sit up for just a second. I want
Yes,
to see
Dad.
your trails off. Now turn around for a little bit.
Hold it right there.
No, yeah, no, hold it over here. That sounded almost like, who's this guy? I I can't believe that this is where. Oh, it's Mouth out. That's not what I'm doing. That's what I'm thinking of when I now hold it over here. I can't even do it. Dennis, uh, Dennis. I never saw that Dennis the Menace, but he played
Was it
Mr. Wilson.
was it Macaulay Culkin who was Dennis in that one?
Gosh, was it?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I think so. I think it might have been.
I never saw that movie either.
I think it might have been.
Ben? Hey man,
So,
I'd love some of that late '90s Dennis the Menace money.
wouldn't that be crazy? Ben Lawrence as Dennis the Menace. I could see it maybe.
Was that late mid '90s, early '90s? I
I
know.
don't, how old is Macaulay Culkin compared to us?
I mean, honestly, a number of years ago he looked a lot older, but I think he's cleaned himself up. I think so. Like, Home Alone came out in '89, and he would have been 9.
So younger than us.
Oh yeah, definitely younger. I'm just trying to figure out
Okay.
like by how much. Like 15 years?
Oh, hey, can we talk about something?
No, this is a podcast. We're not
Age,
supposed to talk
age
about
related.
things.
So I have some friends who are millennials, and they made a statement, and this is true. Did we talk about this already? Generation X
That's
is
us.
turning more conservative.
So I hear.
Like they had more, and one of the things that they said was that Gen X believes that they're going to get the boomers' money. And I was
Not the way my
surprised by
parents
that.
are spending it.
This is what I'm saying. I was very surprised at that idea, and I had the same, like, Jennifer's dad had said to her that she's not getting any money, that the money's going to go to the grandkids if there is any, that sort of thing, right?
Well, Betty's gonna be set then.
So yeah, exactly. This is the thing. So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, the millennials are hearing that Gen X thinks they're getting the boomers' money.
Yeah.
Gen X isn't hearing about it. And at first, I jumped to the idea of, well, that's a lie. This is just something that the millennials have decided. But I'm like, wait a second. The millennials, a lot of them are Gen X's kids,
Right.
right? And so I am envisioning, if this is true, what this means. I think what it is that, did you ever see Succession?
Oh yeah.
Succession, sorry. Secession is a different. So Succession.
Succession.
So I feel like, here's what's going on. Boomers, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the writing on the wall. My kids hate me. No one's gonna, no one's coming over to my house anymore. They all think that I, don't love them, whatever. And so select boomers are having closed door meetings with their Gen X children and saying to them, look, you think that I don't love you. I've actually put you in my will, and when I die, you're going to get some money. Can't tell you how much, but I want to let you know that I care about you. Now, what about inviting dear old dad to your college graduation? That sort of your son's college graduation.
Yeah.
I'd like to be there for it. That sort of thing. So the millennials are getting this through osmosis because all of a sudden dad and grandpa are meeting and stuff like that. And the Gen Xers who are in on this, the Gen Xers who have gotten this, aren't telling the rest of us because we would be pissed at them, right? I don't know if this is true or not. I know some Gen Xers who I'm almost positive voted for Trump. I can believe it. But most of my contemporaries wouldn't. I could see them not voting also.
Here's the thing. I have a lot of friends. Well,
Big bragger. Ben Lawrence
I'm
has
gonna
a lot of friends.
disregard my one friend who was a Trump supporter from day one, right? I'm gonna disregard him. I do have a lot of friends who are culturally liberal but fiscally conservative. And I can see them looking at this last election going, well, Trump's a monster, but he's going to give me a tax cut because I'm in a favorable bracket.
Yeah, the culturally liberal, fiscally conservative, the thing I like about that, this is from Twitter. I'm sure that you've heard it before. The things that are happening are horrible, but the causes of that, well, those are pretty good.
The causes?
We should pay more. There should be more tax money for this, but I'm not going to pay it. That sort of.
There's. I'm not going to get deported. But my mom's undocumented. Surely she's not going to get deported. I can understand where millennials are considering Gen X how they're becoming more and more conservative, because that's what happens when you get money, right? Gen X, they're building up their nest egg by now. A lot of us are nearing retirement age. We're looking at our bank accounts, and I'm not including you and me in this us. I am so far away from retirement. But
yeah, who's retiring? There are some people.
You have the upper end, the early Gen Xers, the ones who were born in like 1967, 1968, right? They're looking at their money and they're going, I need to protect me and mine. And
this is exactly
voting
this
for
is exactly what the millennials are saying.
Conservative policies, yeah.
That the Gen X, and this is the point is, they say, Gen X has given up trying to change the world and are just trying to, get their thing. And I was like, did Gen X ever really think that they would change the world? Did they? It's been pretty much a downer from
Gen X ever want to? Like the catchphrase from Gen X is whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the thing, is that I was thinking, is it not a fact that when we were growing up, like, did you see Star Wars in the theater?
Not the first one, but I did see Empire and definitely Jedi.
The first Star Wars that you and I saw in the theater was Empire.
Yeah.
And Empire doesn't end with things being happy.
It is a bit of a downer.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones does all this stuff.
Yeah.
In the end, what happens to the Ark of the Covenant? It's put in a warehouse.
To be lost forever.
So many other movies, right? End with, like, Colors when it came out. Granted, Colors was never supposed to be a feel-good movie or whatever, but all these things, downer endings. The idea of, well, this is the way the system works. Things are never going to change.
Yeah.
Etc. All that stuff. That's what we kind of grew up watching. The A-Team, Ben. The A-Team only escaped, but they never were able to clear their name, at least when I was watching.
Yeah. A lot of nihilism in our generation.
Yeah. We were fed it.
Yeah.
Right? The idea that nothing's going to get better. That concept. Like I sometimes have I don't talk about work stuff, but sometimes I I do talk to people for whom I am familiar with, saying, actually, you can accomplish something here. You can. Here is an example of a thing that you can do right now that will be beneficial. Is it going to fix everything? No, but you can, do something that's beneficial right now.
Yeah.
It's just interesting hearing now that there are younger generations of adults from us, hearing them say stuff about Gen X like we used to say about boomers is very sad.
Well, I mean, it's
Here's
the circle of life. It's time marches on, and to be honest, I'm surprised millennials are thinking of us at all because normally Gen X is left off of the thought process between the different generations because we are the forgotten one. We're the smallest generation.
Yeah, well, what happens is the millennials go, "Hey, wait a second. What about these guys? What did you do?" And we're like, "Who, me? I was eating glass and falling down on asphalt. I didn't do
I
anything.
didn't do
Why
nothing.
look at me?"
I'm an innocent bystander.
And now they're like, now they're sort of saying, "Well, maybe you should have done something. Maybe that sort of thing." We're both kind of under the this is how I always thought of it. Gen X and millennials up until, this election and this divide, right? We're both under the thumb of the boomers, basically. Same problem. We're never going to buy a house, never
Yeah.
don't have any savings. What are we going to do? That sort of thing. Um Now I have a house.
Hey, look at you. How's your
Um
savings?
I have no savings. My savings are in the house.
They're in the house.
No, Ben, I don't mind. I don't mind telling you. I have $2,000 worth of savings, which is more than I had in 2000. So
The year 2000.
yeah, but in the same way, I mean, it's okay. So once I got back on Reddit, there's a thing called Ask Chicago, right?
Right.
And there are people that say, "Hey, me and my wife have a combined income of $80,000 a year, and we want to move to Chicago. Um, is $2,000 enough to get us out there? And we're probably planning on looking for jobs when we get there. How long can we survive? That kind of thing."
Yeah.
And the answers that people give them are wildly disparate, right? Some people are like, "You got to get a job before you get here." Other people are like, "Yeah, you should come here, no problem. You could probably find a place in Lincoln Park for, not that expensive, whatever." Which I think is incorrect, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
I saw that Seattle was number 8. I saw. Somebody told me that
Yeah,
Seattle was number 8 on the world's most expensive cities to live in.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
Yeah. And I every once in a while I'll be looking at the personal finance subreddit, and you come across some of these posts like, I make, my wife and I have a combined gross income of, $850,000 a year. We own 2 houses. One's fully paid off. The mortgage on this one is such and such a percentage. We pay $2,000 a month for that. Various other assets that they have, and we're like, and my parents have this much money that they're planning on giving us by when they pass away and they're 80.
Hey, are these guys Gen X's?
So probably, and but they're like, so with all this, can I retire when I'm 63? Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, the idea of retiring just doesn't cross my mind. It doesn't seem like something that would be possible.
My mom retired the moment she could, which was I think when she turned 65. My dad is still working. He's 74 these days. But the thing is, my parents are only 25 years older than I am,
Yeah.
which is not much. 25 years
No.
ago, I auditioned for my first show at Annex.
Isn't that weird? Did you get it? Was it Forlorn?
I
What was
it
it?
was Forlorn, yeah. I was gonna make a joke about it. I haven't heard yet, but I'm still holding out hope.
Oh man, Ben, I'm sorry I stepped on that.
Yeah, that was 1999. Tonight we're gonna party.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, 1999 was right when I got here. So this is true. I saw when I came down the street, like that was the show that was going on. I didn't see it.
You froze for a sec. What did you say?
Oh, when I was in Seattle, right when I had just moved to Seattle,
Yeah.
and I was walking up and down Fourth, I saw Forlorn posters.
Oh yeah.
That's actually how I got involved with Annex. It was like, hey, I'd like to do something here.
Glad you did. I walk past your old apartment all the time because it's on my way home. The old Virginian.
Yeah. The old Virginia.
It's just called the Virginian, but it is rather old. But I don't remember which apartment you had or what floor you were on. So I don't think it was one of the ones in the front. I think it was like when you walk in, I think it was to the right, maybe on the second floor.
I think it's the second floor and it's to the left.
To the left. Okay.
When you're wait, hold on. Hold on.
I think I'd been in your place maybe once or twice.
Yeah, okay, so this is crazy, but if you're facing the doors, it would be to the left.
Facing the doors,
but I think
from the inside or the outside?
From the street.
Okay.
Facing the doors, it's to the left. But I think if you go up the stairs, you're going to turn. So then when you get through that door, it would be to the right.
Ah, okay.
If that makes sense. But I don't know for sure. I don't remember. I do remember that I had downstairs neighbors.
Yeah.
Because they came up angry at me when I was trying to build a set of monkey bars.
I remember that.
2 a.m.
I think we went to the Home Depot in my pickup truck to get all the monkey bar stuff.
It didn't succeed.
No.
I didn't. They kept on falling, and the guy came up.
You probably had hardwood floor too, huh?
Yeah, we did. And he said, "What's up? Are you tweaking?" And I didn't know what tweaking meant.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Probably," which was what I was doing.
What a tweaker would say.
I was working nights.
Yeah.
And so this is my day off, one of my days off. But it was also during the week, I believe. So they probably had work or something. Yeah, he came up and he was mad at me, but then he left me alone. And we never spoke again.
Did you ever see him again? Did you ever avoid eye contact in the hallway?
He was the boyfriend of my downstairs neighbor, and I think they broke up at some point in time.
Ah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I told you about the guy from Germany who moved in across the hall.
Did you?
Okay, so maybe not. There was a guy from Germany who moved in across the hall from me. It's like a filmmaking guy, whatever. And I worked nights, so I hardly ever saw him, right? But the first time that he met me, he didn't speak any English whatsoever.
Okay.
He left about 6 months later, and he said, "Paul, I'm sorry that we didn't have a chance to talk. I know that you work nights, but it was very nice being your neighbor."
That's an awful nice thing to say.
Yeah. And he learned, and I was like, "How can you speak? When I met you, you didn't speak any English." He's like, "I've been watching The Simpsons every night."
I mean, there are worse ways to learn English.
Yeah, true.
I didn't realize that
a lot of worse ways.
Didn't realize that he had that he did not know any English before moving in.
Yeah, true. But it's kidnapping a professor. Probably one of the worst ways.
Speaking of The
I'm a
Simpsons,
professor of mathematics.
the voice of Milhouse is retiring. Pamela Hayden will no longer be voicing Milhouse. So that raises the question, are they going to kill Milhouse?
Was that one of the options?
That's an option that I just came up with. I've not
Do
heard
they
anything.
have they frequently killed other characters
It
when
has
they?
happened. It has happened. Like
I know.
Flanders' wife died.
Oh, I know Hank Azaria stopped doing Apu,
Yeah, but
which was good.
they didn't kill
Hari
Apu off, though.
Kondabolu did a thing right. I was gonna say I was gonna ask. They didn't kill Apu off, did
No.
they? Because that would have been bad.
But yeah, I did see Hari's movie, The Problem with Apu.
Yeah. Now, did I ever tell you what my thought of what they should do? And I don't think I got this from Hari. I think that I came up with this myself. They should just have Hari start doing Apu's character. Don't address it. Don't change it. Don't do anything except just have him do Apu in his voice.
His normal voice.
And he's now the voice of Apu. Yeah, and then just go from there. I think it would be here's the reason why. Hari Kondabolu would then have a salary commiserate with being on The Simpsons as one of the like named and popular characters, and he deserves it, in my opinion, for bringing us all the laughs and all the social awareness.
Indeed.
He was also the guy who said that the Redskins should just still be called the Redskins, but that their mascot be changed into a sunburnt white guy, which I think would.
I did not hear that, but I think I've said this on the show before. I do think they should have moved on from the name, but I think they should have. The temporary name they had was the Washington Football Team.
We talk about this, yes,
and they should have stuck with that. They never should have changed it from that. That is like
and their logo,
a good name,
in my opinion, a football.
Exactly, and it's WFT, which is close enough to being cool.
Yeah, and I would say that if they did that, I might have finally had my favorite football team.
The Washington Football Team.
Yes. But no. And again, I'm still on paper at least a White Sox fan.
On paper?
Yeah.
In reality.
I haven't bought any merch or anything like that. And again, I would have if not for the, thin blue line White Sox fan who maybe go, and you explained this to me already.
Yeah.
That
in
every fandom there's a
if you want to be
problem.
cool, go get like a White Sox hat from the 80s. Like the old 80s logo.
Yeah. But now that I've grown my hair out, I don't know. I'm sorry to anyone who has this as their aesthetic. I don't like the long hair coming out of a baseball cap. Look. I think Stephen Wright has that look. And that's fine for him. I'm not going to tell him what he can and can't do. He's one of my greatest influences. I like him a lot.
Paul, we had a bomb go off over the Pacific Northwest on Tuesday. A bomb cyclone.
What is a bomb cyclone, Ben? Can you explain it to me?
It's a North Pacific version of a hurricane.
What?
Yeah, it was a pretty serious storm. I don't know the exact number, but like about 500,000 people in the area were without power. Some are still without power.
Wow.
Yeah. I was actually driving home in it, and I was, you've seen my car. It's small and bubbly, right? I was still getting blown all over the road.
I bet you were.
Hey, because I'm cool.
For those of you only listening to the audio, Ben winked at me when he said, hey. Which I thought was perfect timing.
Ben's in on the joke. Yeah, and we're supposed to have another one tomorrow, which is great.
No!
2 bomb cyclones in a week. I'm looking forward to it.
So we got a dehumidifier for our pantry
Do
because
you
it has
put it next
some
to your
liquid.
humidifier and watch them duke it out?
We just mentioned Stephen Wright. I really appreciate it.
Still a better
Um,
fight than Tyson versus Paul.
oh, hey, and when I heard about the Tyson versus Paul fight, I was like, hold on, I didn't know anything about this, but luckily it was a different guy. Um,
I'm not ready.
would have liked to have seen Tyson versus Aaron Paul. I think that.
Or Aaron Paul versus Tyson Chicken.
Oh yeah, that would have been, and it's just him eating.
Yo, this is great, Mr. White.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um,
Chicken,
yeah. So
bitch.
did we talk about that fight? Did it happen prior to our
We've not.
last
Yeah,
podcast?
it did, but we haven't talked about it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I didn't watch it. Didn't really have any interest in it, but it is interesting. I, as a Gen X person, just assumed that Mike Tyson would win
Yeah.
because for all of our lives, Mike Tyson had been an unstoppable force.
Well, I mean, we grew up playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Apparently, Mike Tyson didn't play Mike Tyson's Punch Out until recently, and he didn't even get past stage one,
It's a
which
hard
I'm
game.
kind of happy about because he would have had to have fought himself.
I
Uh,
yeah. I did.
did you see the interview that he gave to that young girl?
No. Like after the fight?
No, before the fight.
Before the fight? No.
She asked him what his legacy was going to be,
Biting
and
Evander Holyfield's ear?
he said, "I don't like that word legacy. Why does it matter when you're dead? You're dead. Who cares? I'm dead at that point." Like it was
Right.
really, it was very depressing and very, very sad to see. And so when he didn't win, I was like, okay, well, yeah, I can see it. He got paid. What does he care if he wins or not? But I think there's a possibility, like if you watch that interview now,
Yeah.
that he had already decided that he wasn't going to win that fight. I'm not saying that he threw it, but like he was, the answer that he gave was the answer that he would give after having lost.
Yeah. I mean, it's boxing. Boxing has a history, but like I've heard a lot of people say that they think it was fixed and that Tyson and Paul were, they're going to be paid to go 8 rounds, and so they went 8 rounds and
Yeah.
fulfilled the assignment. I didn't watch all of it. I was doing something else that night. Apparently, like the whole event started at like 5 and the main event didn't start until like 9 or some absurd time like that.
Oh, wow.
I was actually texting with McCandless at one point, and he asked me if I was watching it. I'm like, I guess I'll turn it on. And so I saw the very last round.
Gotcha. I saw some clips from it. Specifically,
Tyson's bare ass.
I'm on. No, I didn't see that. I'm on. At least not during the fight.
No, this was like before. Apparently,
Okay.
all of Netflix, whoever was able to get Netflix to work, they showed like he was wearing some sort of like buttless jock strap during an interview.
Oh, gotcha.
And when he walked away, the camera, like, you see his ass cheeks, and the camera quickly pans up to reframe it.
The buttless jockstrap. I had one. That was one of the things that I would wear every once in a while.
Yeah.
On GudeLaurance.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you know that.
I'm
yeah.
aware.
So the big thing I would say, as far as I remember, regarding all of all the stuff leading up to it, all the stuff afterwards, it seemed like they were having more fun when it was announced and they were doing, all the like weigh-in things, where they stand next to each other and all that kind of stuff.
Apparently, like, Logan Paul slapped Tyson, or Tyson slapped Paul. One of the
Tyson slapped him. Apparently, because Logan Paul stepped on Tyson's foot.
That's all.
And somebody said that slap shows that Mike's still in this. He's gonna. But then I saw some clips that had it showed Tyson swinging at him and missing as like an example of the fight being thrown. But I assume that that happens every once in a while when you're boxing.
I
That somebody
guess I don't really
does miss.
watch, but I'm assuming that there are a number of missed connections, much like the
There's
back pages of The
there's
Stranger.
there's some boxing guy who's listening to this now, going, "Why have I invested so much time in these guys?" But no, there's some. I do like that idea. There's some guy listening going, "If only I could get Goody and Lawrence into the ring, I know I could whip them into shape."
Ding
That
ding
would
ding.
be that is like a very this is a deep Goody Lawrence cut for anyone who knows anything about it. There was one thing where we had made ourselves up to look like we had gotten
Yeah.
the like completely beat up, and we had talked about for a little while, but then we decided it would be too much work, much like a lot of Goody Lawrence stuff, uh, of just us looking like we got beat up every single performance after that.
Right. One of the reasons why we didn't do that, A of all, it would have been too much, but B of all, we had to have someone else come and do our makeup for
Yep.
us. Rachel Jackson came and did our makeup for us for that video, and if we had continued, we couldn't ask her to come and do that for
Yeah.
every single one of our performances.
But it would have been
Or
cool.
we could have asked, we just know she would have said no.
Yeah. Um, but it is one of those things that like a little button that would have been really cool if we had both learned how to do makeup. I could have done your makeup, you could have done my makeup, and we would have been set. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
And then,
But
yeah, we continue it on now. Every time we do the podcast, we put the makeup on.
who did our makeup for the ghost thing?
I think we did our own for that because it was very rudimentary.
Okay, all right.
I just
So
want to say we just got like some Ben Nye like sponges and and a stage kit and just went to town. I could be wrong though. That was like more than 20 years ago at this point.
speaking of more than 20 years ago, did you see the Pajama Men performance with us when they were here for Fringe Fest
Yeah.
with the guy, the horse that was like this and all that? Every time I do this and I look at my ring, I think about a horse with a ring around its tooth because of
Yeah.
the way that that is. They have a movie or a TV show or something that's coming out.
I'm not surprised. They were very funny.
They were
Very
so
talented.
funny, very talented. That was one of those things where yeah, I couldn't believe that I didn't hear more from them, if that makes sense.
They had changed their name at some point, either to the
Oh,
Pajama Men or from the Pajama Men to something else. But I can't. I know that they rebranded.
gotcha. All right. Well, the thing that I saw was on IMDb, Untitled Pajama Men
Ah, okay.
Project. So that's exciting. Hey, hey!
I finished. I finished. I watched Baby Reindeer. Have you seen this TV show that's on Netflix?
I watched the first bit of it and then I didn't like it and I stopped watching it.
I stuck with it just because it has an interesting controversy surrounding it. So I wanted to see what the story was.
What is the interesting controversy?
Well, the story is it's this struggling comedian who is being
Mm-hmm.
stalked by some woman, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
keeps harassing him. And he says that he's changed the name and details, of course, in the show so that you wouldn't be able to identify who the actual person was.
Yeah.
But then Piers Morgan goes and outs her and interviews her on the actual person, somehow finds out who it is. And so there's this whole thing where like now she's suing Netflix and this guy and like there's just a whole bunch of rigmarole going on. going on, and it's just another indication of how Piers Morgan is a terrible person.
Yeah. I can see that.
It was
Um,
okay. It was. I mean, it was the reason
so
why.
here's
The reason why I
here's my
started watching
question.
it in the first place, like why I decided to watch it and not something else, is because the episodes were short.
Do you think that she knows him? I'm sorry. Do you think that she knows that it was about her?
I think it enough specificity is there, and like
Yeah.
this guy, it's this guy. He has actually a record of like having not a record, but like she knows that she did this to him, and so
Yeah.
seeing this depiction on a TV show, even though the name has changed, physical descriptions change, things that happened are different. It's
Yeah. Well,
dramatized in
I mean,
a separate way. It is. She knows it is about her.
here's what I'm wondering. Uh, is it at all possible that she reached out to Piers Morgan and said, "Hey, this is about me"?
Yeah, probably. I don't know
Yeah.
how they got connected. All I know is that like Netflix
I'm
and
just saying. I
Richard
don't
Gadd
know.
were doing what they could to keep her identity anonymous, and then she goes on Piers Morgan.
Here's the thing. It's so there's a thing called Feel Good, right? Um, that I liked. It was a TV show called Feel Good.
Oh,
I liked it. This person based it on their life,
yeah.
and it seemed pretty even-handed, right? Like, here are the things I did that were bad, and the things that they did that were bad were bad. When I saw Baby Reindeer, one of the reasons I didn't want to watch it anymore is because it seemed like this is the best version, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe he did more that I missed, where he like gave this person additional credit or whatever. But it seemed like they were bad from the beginning and a problem from the beginning, and he was good.
He
Like, and it,
definitely no. There are moments in the show where he makes poor choices.
yeah,
But there's also things that happen to him that make him a very uh, um, the word has escaped me, but a sympathetic character.
sympathetic.
Yeah, it makes him a very sympathetic character. Like this event that happened to him is one of the reasons why he behaves in such a way, which is one of the reasons why she behaves in such a way towards him. You know.
Gotcha. So, okay. Um, I'm gonna mention this. Mr. In Between. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Because the thing you mentioned, it Baby Reindeer has the episodes are short.
Well,
The episodes,
the first, they go between 25 and like 47 minutes.
yeah. Okay, so Mr. In Between is short in that same way,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. I think you would like it. It's on Hulu. I would definitely take a look. Also on Hulu that I'm watching right now is Interior Chinatown.
We know somebody who writes on that show. Do you know Keiko Green?
Keiko Green. That sounds super familiar.
She's a writer on that show, and her episode I think just aired.
Oh, well, all the episodes are out, I believe.
Yeah, check it. She's a local Seattle theater person.
What did she do anything when I was there?
Yes, she actually was the curator of our very last Spin the Bottle.
Okay, yeah.
Because I remember there's a point during that performance where like after it goes off the rails and I kind of hijack it, I say, "I'm sorry, Keiko, we're gonna go long."
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So
yeah.
that's awesome.
I'll check it
Yeah,
out.
I'm really liking it so far. But yeah, I definitely check out Mr. In Between too. I think you'd really dig it.
Anybody we know in it?
No one that we know.
Not
in
that
it,
we
but
know.
th- this
a
is the
lot of
important
people.
thing. The guy who did Mr. In Between,
Yeah.
it's the only thing that he's really done. He did a movie based on the same character before, and then he did Mr. In Between. It's one of the best like examples of like it's a perfect, it knows exactly what it is. The show knows exactly what it is, and it does it really, really well. It's Australian. I think I mentioned that before. Did you see Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun
No.
on Netflix? Oh, I recommend I recommend that too. It is also Australian. So Australian things for Ben.
I like Australian things. Like
Yeah, I would.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah. I just watched Deadpool versus
Oh
Wolverine.
yeah, how's that?
It's okay. It's
Millions
enjoyable.
and millions of money, millions and millions of millions and millions of money, millions of
Millions of
dollars
money. Yeah.
spent on making a movie and advertising, and billions on and it's okay.
One last thing, and then I'll leave. I talk about AI, generative AI, on here
All the
sometimes,
GD
and it's
time.
it's going to be inevitable and all that. But I figured out something. So for a long time, people have, oh, they've got too many fingers, etc.
Right.
And somebody posted a thing recently that was like, um, you know, over 1,000 people were polled, and those who said that they hated generative AI actually preferred the images when picking them, not knowing which were AI and which weren't.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So they say, I hate generative AI, but they pick pictures. And the thing is, it's like that's not the problem that people had with it. It's what they made fun of it about, but that wasn't the problem. The problem they had was the genesis of it, right? Of where it came from, the provenance, if you will. So it'd be like saying, I don't know, people that say that they hate. Oh, this is a bad example, but people who say that you shouldn't date underage people love the films of Roman Polanski and David Bowie. It's like
Yeah.
the output. The output is good. What I don't like is the other stuff that happens, right? So that's sort of the same thing.
I love.
It's not that they don't.
I don't want there to be cruelty to cows, but I can't wait to have a hamburger for dinner tonight.
Well, yeah, or okay, this is another example, right? Yeah, I don't like animal cruelty, right? So I don't like watching movies before before the Humane Society started keeping track of whether animals were hurt or not.
Yeah.
I still will watch those movies, but I don't like it. Whatever, right? The fact is that there's going to be a time where, yeah, you're not going to be able to tell. And the issue isn't going to be what the images are. The issue is going to be how did it come about. Some people don't like the energy thing. Some people don't like this. And I came up with it, finally.
You solved
Why
it.
people matter. Now, Ben, you may not be like me on this, but sometimes, and if you've ever given me a play to read, people listening, I do apologize for what I'm about to say. But if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I wrote a play. Will you read it?" The first thing you want to do is go, "No, I don't have time to read a play. What if it sucks? How am I gonna,
I've read your other
when you
plays;
ask
they
me what
weren't
I
very
thought of it,
good.
what am I going to say, etc." But then I think, well, they spent a lot of time on this, and they're brave with coming forward, having me read it. Okay, I'll read it. Sure. Sometimes that no can flip to a yes. Same issue. You come up to me, you say, "Hey, do you want to read this play that I made using Chat GPT?" No, no, I don't.
Yeah.
That, and I think that's really where the rubber meets the road in this whole thing. If you say, "Do you want to see the stop motion animation that I made?" Sure. hey, would you like to see the stop motion animation I made using, these AI tools? No, I'd rather, make my own thing at that point.
I'd rather
I don't know.
poke my eyes out.
No, but I have been always the hypocrite. I do watch some things. Right now, there's a thing where they allow you to put a skin over stuff, so you have a hand drawn thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it makes it look like it's one of the big things is that somebody took the Akira trailer and then made it live action by putting skins over it, and it looks. We're gonna see it in movies soon, absolutely, because it's so cheap and it looks good. Looks good. It's gonna happen.
Disney spending all this money to remake their old, classic films as live action, and it's just gonna get worse.
Coca-Cola put out an AI generated commercial.
Was that Coke or was that Pepsi?
Coke. Pepsi never. Pepsi would never. Oh, that's another thing in Chicago. A lot more Pepsi.
Oh yeah.
Around in places. Yeah. Apparently there's a bottling plant here
that makes sense.
One point. No longer. Hey, we've gone over, Ben. We've gone over like 8 minutes.
It's time.
And I don't care.
It's time. Actually, I think there may be a rehearsal starting here soon, so I do have to go. So.
And I was kidding about the not caring, Ben. I care. All right, well, Ben.
Well, with that.
Until next time, how's it happening? Keep it wrong.
Keep it wrong.
Remember, we are.
Next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
And we have to do. And you're going to be gone?
And I'm going to be gone, yeah. So we might have to do a twofer on a Friday or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Friday after Thanksgiving off. I don't talk about work. So maybe that's what we'll do.
All right, well, let's chat and make sure we got ourselves covered.
Yeah. We can talk about it in the after show.
Bonus Patreon only recording. That is neither
For
Patreon,
the Patreon
nor
that we don't
recorded.
That we don't actually record. Yes, Ben.
All right, Paul.
Exactly. I'll talk to you later. How's it happening? Keep it wrong.
Keep it wrong.
All that.
I'll see